Well, y'all, according to Facebook, there's like 133 of my Facebook friends and followers online, which is cool. Hopefully, some of you will tune in and catch this. The name, the title is really self-explanatory. I was sitting around thinking whether I should go live, which is part of my overall uh, weekly activities on Facebook Live or Instagram Live. Look at the numbers and say, hey, I'll do it Facebook. And this is really an interactive section where I will respond to comments. Should they pop up. Today was actually it's the last day I had officially off my regular job. I've been off since last Thursday. I'm a faithful follower of blackenterprise.com. Going to subscribe to the magazine real soon. And I was privileged to attend the online summit. Great speakers, great information. As well as attend another summit, another program today. Now you may say, well, that's all business talk. It's late at night. But here's the thing. Some of these well-known people that was on Thursday and Friday's program, which they said have 5,000 people in attendance worldwide, 5,000 people virtually. And I was able to get in, signed up, registered, got in, took a lot of notes. It really tapped into the contributions made present day, the sacrifices made present day of so many of us African Americans or black people. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole summit. I'm just going to say that I walked away feeling inspired, encouraged, uplifted. The keynote speakers, like other speakers and presenters, they kept it real. I'm going to endeavor to keep it real with this live stream this evening. Decided to get up, put on Failures Are Steps to Success t-shirt. And they are. This year, those of you who have interacted with me personally, some days you've been around me and I've had a smile on my face and I just enjoying the moment of family time and friends time, and really I'm so doggedly tired. I just wanted to be somewhere in bed wrapped up in some covers, y'all. We all have those moments. We all have those moments that we push on for families, for friends, for our jobs, or if our jobs are actually a career for us. We push on. Put a smile on our face. Engage with others because we realize it's not about us as individuals. It's about the collective. Joy, it has been said, is contagious. A smile, it has been said, can be contagious. My smile may not be the same as others, but I'm like, oh my God. But there are moments I have my silly moments. Just keeping it real, again, random words. And initially this was done as a podcast series, as highlighted. The link's there. My podcast has grown, really grown internationally. I'm not saying it bragging. I'm saying it because over the last 2 years, it's been a lot of work, effort put in it. And someone said, well, Alfred, you're not getting paid, or how much do you get paid? Some people can make crazy mad money, but for now, it's not. Now and later, it will not be about the money as far as the podcast goes. I'm able to keep it real, and with the guests that I've had coming on lately, they've kept it real. Some of you've seen the post I shared, the episode post here on Facebook, on Instagram. It is also difficult some days for some of us even to get up and get moving, but we go anyway. And when I think, take those quiet moments and really appreciate the loving family I have, the real friends I have, all the foolishness I deal with day to day, whether it's here or elsewhere, makes it all worth it. I affirm the joy and satisfaction and loving and experiencing love makes it all worth it. There are joy killers in this world. the joy killers in our life. We tap into that negativity, and the other people's words bring us down, affect us, impact us, get within our spirit. Then failures are no longer steps to success. Whatever success looks like to you. For me, it just looks like family. When I spend time with my grandkids, the precious moments I have with them, the precious moments I have with my sons. And this weekend past, I've not been around them on a regular basis. I enter our family up north quite regularly. Many of them celebrate the passing of our cousin April about a month ago. For her call, I met her once in my lifetime. All I can say is she must have been one special, powerful woman. For people a month later to go have another memorial service, honoring her, thinking about her, celebrating her life. Life is precious, y'all. We speak it, we say it, we share it on social media, we post words about how good the day was, how bad the day was, our highs, our lows, and things happening in the world around us. But in the core of all of those things, hello, Miss Julia. So glad to have you. So glad to have you. If it wasn't so late, I might bring you on camera to interact and get your words, your opinions about this thing called life. We post so much great stuff on Facebook as well as Instagram. Like I told you before, you're an inspiration for single moms, based on your stories and things you share. My mom was a single mom. A lot of people in my family are single moms. Y'all keep it real, those of you who are successful at it. Like I said, I was texting my oldest son earlier. Because this was a day that had some troubles in it. Unforeseen troubles. But the highs made up the troubles worth it. Made going through and keeping that tongue in check worth it. Thank you. I said in the beginning, wasn't sure whether to go up here or go on Instagram. I checked the numbers and more people online here. So I came here. Today was the day I had to reach out to some folks. It's supposed to have been a smooth sailing day. That was a smooth sailing day for the most part. And some good things happened. Some things that were waiting to happen months ago came to fruition today. But as they all say in the old country church, the devil found a way to stop in. But as Daniel was, I like using biblical analogies. Those who hear me talk know that. That Daniel was silent when he was in the lion's den. I did my best to be silent in the situation today. That wasn't so good. Here it is today, it's about over. Here on Facebook Live. Keeping a promise to myself to go live. Because I've been told by others that my words make a difference, my words matter. And if they do, then I'm thankful for those who pay attention. For the energy goes back and forth. The flow of energy goes back and forth. But there was a time in my life. If any of you've gotten my book, maybe you've caught some of my other stuff over the years, you know, I went into a really dark place. I'm up and riding out of it somewhat. Thank you. Coming out of it somewhat. You see my those who are friends on Facebook see my personal page and my business page. And you know that after this is over, I will set it up and share it differently. Even to my YouTube channel. But my words are rooted in the words of those who loved me through my madness, through my darkness. And sometimes, as my slogan says, our words affect your trajectory, this is also another one of my slogans on this t-shirt of mine. Normally I would include the big link, but there's no reason because it's to all my stuff, but there's no reason to share that because anyone who wants to engage, you know, the link could go to Instagram and find out, even my Facebook business page. This is not some sales pitch. This is not me getting up here, getting emotional because I'm trying to sell something. This is simply me talking as I always do in my post. And as the gentleman I interviewed Saturday talked about the spiritual, the physical, the emotional, the mental, our total person. The guy I recorded was Saturday. Either we work towards being a whole person, or we live broken in pieces. And I know eventually in my time, God will open up the door, and I will be speaking for audiences large and small, even if it's virtual through Zoom, which I have the capability to do so. I will tell my story. Church groups, civic groups will find me, recruit me, and I will share my story. Hey, Miss Patricia, good to have you on board. I'm trying to find that groove where people are actually here and can engage more. Yes, my story, Preconditioned to Fail, is in the link. This is my very first podcast episode. Yes, it has over 50 plays right now. And that story was named by my oldest son several years ago. It's like, Dad, people tell their stories. Famous speakers are simply retelling their story over and over again because they realize that their story has something in common with other people's stories. Whether it's Les Brown or William Hollis the Great or Joyce Nichols, Lisa Nichols, whoever these great speakers are, and in my own time, I will stand with them and talk with some of them. Who knows? God may have it in my future to be one who goes on with some of them are gone. I don't know. But our timetable and God's timetable is not always the same. And someone told me when I started out doing open mics about 10 to 12 years ago, this is where it would be. Stay on your path, Patricia. Stay on your path. If you like to get your story on a different platform, inbox me, Facebook Messenger. I am filling up my list. Hello, cuz, Rupert. I'm glad to have you on board. But I'm filling up my list of speakers going into 2021 for my podcast. Rupert, my mom, like I said in my post with your father's photo, my mom left me pictures. For some reason, she felt the need to give me pictures of my grandfather and my uncles and people wasn't allowed to associate with growing up. So that at the right time, I could use these photographs to find my family. My one sadness is that my sons don't know my family on this side. They know my story of being preconditioned to fail. They know how I've come up. I mentioned Lisa Nichols as well as Joyce Myers. Those closest to me know my story. They've seen the writings on Facebook. Some attended my life events. But my mom, Dorothy, made sure that I had photographs of people such as your father, Rupert Sr. And I came across that photo sharing pictures with one of my closest friends yesterday. It's been tucked away. I didn't even see it. COVID-19 has ravaged enough families. People coming, going, and dying, passing on regardless of COVID-19 or not. We lost our cousin April. I lost my brother-in-law, Freddie. Hello, Willoughby, my classmate. I keep it real in these things that I do. Some may be turned off back home and behaving and down that way. But some of the things that I say, but no one knows what happens in no one's home but the people living in those homes. So when I wrote We Are One Little Boy Lost, it's part of my story behind closed doors, my podcast. But my losses, they helped me appreciate Patricia, like my book. When I finished it, We Are One Little Boy Lost, as well as my podcast about being preconditioned to fail, helped me to appreciate that in loss, like in failure, there's gain. My mom passed away years ago, yet I'm still gaining from the things she left me. I've handwritten letters from her, going back to the 80s. I appreciate what you said about that peace in the storm, but here's the thing I shared last week. I'm going to share it now. That God cast us into a storm because he knows our enemies can't swim there. Some people see storms being negative, but think about it like this. Was not Jesus himself on the boat asleep, according to sacred text, when a storm arose and everybody panicked? Did not Peter also get out and want to walk on that water according to sacred story in a storm? God often gives us storms because he knows our enemies cannot swim in a storm. So I don't see my storms as negative. I see them as generating peace. I see finding pictures of my Uncle Rupert as peace, where my mom spoke from the grave. I see doing the podcast as peace. I see interviewing people, whether in the UK, which 2 years ago I would never thought of talking about someone in another part of the world that found me because of social media, said, look, I want to come on your show and tell my story and help other people. So that's why I'll include that one link there, and the whole thing is to my podcast. Because these are other persons who, many of them younger than I am, have found their life story to have meaning, where they can tell their story to other people, and they're doing it personally and professionally. And some like me are still working at their craft, honing in their craft, waiting for that knock on the door. And others are getting paid crazy mad money for just telling their story. They didn't do it for the money. They did it because they knew their words mattered. And their story has something in common with this person's story and that person's story and that person's story. That's basically how people who get paid as motivational speakers, as mentors, life coaches, they simply find a way to continue to tell their story. Welcome aboard, Lewis. Glad to have you. Your mother-in-law are currently in our own little kind of book club covering a book right now. It's important. A good book. Tell you how that is. Just like I interact with other people elsewhere, and they encourage me. And I've got a book out now that someone encouraged me to get like a year or so ago. I see what you're doing in your business-wise, Lewis. I wish Keisha a happy birthday today. See, through all this going on in my storm and my stories and your storms and your stories, I suggest that you do one simple thing. Realize that it's not about the you as much as about the we. I often say it's not about the I, it's about the we. The I will lead you to a place of darkness that you may not come from. I've been there, done that. There's power in going there, but there's not power in staying there. And coming back from that Black Enterprise Business Summit this past weekend, Friday, Thursday, and Friday, and going to the one event I went to today online, they're all races on this planet. I understand that. And I love diversity. However, until we ourselves, our own people, continue to empower, uplift, encourage, nurture each other, then we will never get to a higher level. It's like someone once said, I may have it a little bit out of order, but they say poor is flashy, rich is showy, but wealth is quiet, silent. Think about wealth is silent. Wealth sometimes comes in monetary form, networking form, people form. Wealth comes in many forms, like dreams and goals and ambitions come in many forms. But the greatest things are usually silent. Let others praise you, someone once wrote, not your own lips. Yes, I'm a shameless promoter. Yes, I push myself out there. Yes, I talk about my stuff. But at the end of the day, I sit back and pull back so those things could speak for me, and hopefully someone will tap on those things, and others have tapped on those things. And now my podcast is heard regularly in 4 countries, over 2,000 plays. By me simply retelling my story and the stories of others. By me coming on here on Facebook Live saying, look, there may be an audience out there. Want to hear something tonight. And if you type it comment box, or what, as you type in comments, I will do my best to respond to them. Like Julia just said, storms come to make us stronger. They can only make us stronger if we choose to ride them out hunker down in them and stay in them and go in them. Lean into them like that sailboat tacking through the wind. See, I'm not a sailor, but because I read a lot, and I'm not know it all, but I've read the thing years ago about how a sailboat, when it's caught in the storm, the wind's pushing against it. It tacks through the wind. It zigzags through the wind. It cuts through the wind. Never get in a storm. Sometimes we got zig and zag, or Zali wants to bob and weave. Because the things of life that could tear us apart often make us stronger. Our failures make us into successes, family-wise, personal-wise, business-wise. So as I wrap down this episode to keep it real talk, think about this. No one of us is as strong as all of us. No one of us, you will not find the word one in the word us. We are stronger. We are better. We share our words of wisdom and encouragement with each other, whether on social media or in person, face to face or text. We grow. Others grow. We live happier, more productive lives. And the storms that blow us back are more manageable when we realize the we is greater than the one.